All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. Hey, I am so behind on replies and I sincerely apologize. My kitty got a little sick over the weekend and it really messed with me actually, but she is so much better now. We're going to cover four stocks here. So AVTX and FNGR, those two have kind of been a little more on the viewer interest side, for lack of words, and then Mara and Riot. I would almost call those viewer requests, but there's some interesting things that I think are worth checking out. All right, but yeah. It's overall a bit disappointing to say the least, especially on the first two. All right, AVTX, the last video I made, I remember saying it seemed like 12 cents was actually a little bit more likely than 18, and yeah, that happened very, very quickly, right? We'll get to it, right? But it's a scary candle on an important line, so that's going to be the big thing I harp on. All right, FNGR, man, finger motion was like knocking on the door of a breakout, and I'm so sad it didn't do it. I will go more into that one, but man, I had all eyes on that this morning, and yeah, the one lucky thing is there wasn't much of a fake out, so hopefully it didn't we'll talk about that one, like I said, as we get there. And then again, Mara and Riot, I think, are looking interesting. Overall, I think the altcoin, Bitcoin stocks are looking a little interesting overall. So before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines, as well as the occasional diagonal trend line that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me out so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated. If you can actually share the video, it does the most help, because I am not the best at that actually. But look, let's get into it. An AVTX. I was in the stock, all right? I thought really good things were happening. I actually saw some really nice indicators on my personal stack, but there's a couple things really that are going on right now. The first one I just want to quickly touch on, all right? SPX, the S&P 500. This thing is now below all the moving averages, all right? The Dow Jones, the DJ30, this thing is now below all the moving averages, all right? NASDAQ's doing its best. Comp right here, NASDAQ composite. Yeah, right? Doing its best. It's still holding one, but I mean, things are bad in the market, all right? And I know a lot of people are starting to talk about this one. Like I said, this thing was starting to become a volume king, volume queen for my ladies out there, right? Like this thing was pushing hundreds of millions of shares a day, right? Pushing 200 millions of shares, pushing 300, even 4, like there was a lot of volume over the last 2 months is a very easy thing to say, all right? What has recently happened, unfortunately, was a loss of the trend. And for me, what I care about more is a loss of the moving averages, all right? We, in a single candle, lose the 8 and the 20. We very quickly follow through by losing the 50, and then we basically get back-to-back dojis, all right? Again, I'm not a candle shape trader, all right? People literally move thousands among thousands of dollars solely based on the candles. None of the lines, none of the white lines that I draw, right? So candle shapes mean a lot to a lot of people. For some people, maybe this is a little too fat of a body. Maybe it needs to be a little skinnier, right? For me, this one's a doji, this one's a doji. As long as I see a skinny body and some sticks up and down, if I don't see a good full candle, it's relatively doji in my simple head, all right? When I see a doji on an important line, whether it's one of the 5 moving averages or actually a manual line that I draw, I generally expect the next day to be very telling, all right? This line, this $12 line, 12 cent line is essentially my all-time low line, All right. Yeah, I could definitely put one right here. And I guess, yeah, 9 cents would probably be the real all-time low support. But this 12 really tried to hold on for a bit. All right. There was a good hit right there, good hit right there, good hit right there, good hit right there. Like, this is a strong line. This 9 cent, and again, I will draw it because, yeah, it is a good green candle, and I guess it's worth putting. This is just a one and done, right? Like, there's no other moment where anything happens on that thing, right? So for me, I think this 12 cent line is way stronger than this 9 cent is going to be. I really think it's going to be a quick ride down. Maybe 10 cents will catch it. Maybe 10 cents will catch it. That is a bad drop though, right? If you're at 12 and you're going to give up 2 cents, you're losing almost 20%, right? Because give or take 1 cent is 10%, right? So, you know, it's there's definitely more bad on this chart than good. All right, this is a death cross right here. You want a small one to go above a big one. You want the 8 to go above the 20, and that's called a golden cross. When a small one goes below a big one, when the 8 goes under the 20, that right there is a death cross, excuse me, and that happened today. Because yesterday we were up here separate. After today's candle, we actually cross under, and that's a death at the close, right? We have a MACD that's actually now in the negative. All right, we were so close. We were seemingly swimming up to positive, swimming up to positive, swimming up to positive, and then now kind of going right back under, right? Really disappointing. We want the green line above the red one. We now see it's the other way. Like, divergence is nothing more than the two lines going away from each other. This is bad divergence. It seems like the green is going away and it's going down, and it kind of seems like that might be happening there, right? The one thing I don't like, look, this RSI has been wildly flat. All right. And the goal was for it to go up into the 80s. My fear is now becoming it's going to come back down into the teens. All right. Even this right here is still going to be below where we're at in the 27 world. So this RSI was tight. It was so tight. And like I said, it was going to do one of two things. I got in because I was hoping it was going to go back up to here. It's now kind of signaling to me, I think we're going to come back down to a low RSI. And for me, I think that means coming down to 9 cents. That might even actually mean going below 9 cents. And what happens below 9 cents, it's easier to see on the weekly, all-time lows. All right. All-time lows is a really scary place for your money. All right, when you have no support, when you have nothing to catch the fall, all you have is a black hole abyss. All right, and there is no other line I can draw below 9 cents. All right. We're actually below the 8 moving average on the weekly as well, so that's not a great thing. Obviously still very early in the week, but not a good start to it. Yeah, I was worried on the last video. I know it was on the other side of the weekend. It might have even been Thursday of last week, if I'm not mistaken. But AVTX, what went from an interesting setup where I was kind of hoping for 20, if not maybe a little higher, it now seems like we're coming lower. Look, you know I'm not here to spread fear, tell you what to do with your money, anything like that, all right? There are a lot of people talking about holding a lot of shares, and you know I don't want to know your share count. I don't want to know how much money you have. Like, that's between you and your CPA or whoever does your taxes, right? What I really love to know is why. Like, why are people holding this? And I'll be honest, I still haven't really gotten a beautiful answer. Yeah, I've heard some really interesting things. I think the main things I've heard were really good executive team and found a solution for the bad news that caught us to gap. I think that alone is actually a good thing, all right? I'm still not sure what I'm expecting the good news to make this go up. I've heard a couple people talk about maybe getting acquired. I saw something about the Series 800 drugs, or maybe Series 8. Sorry if I'm getting it wrong. It sounds like someone did donate or fund that, and the thought is maybe that company would acquire it. I think there's a reason to think that. It makes some sense to me. At least the connection's already there. The other thing I'm hearing is there's some December meeting, and if you're waiting for December in a stock that is really close to all-time lows, oh man, I don't think December is close enough. All right, and that's my one just honest opinion there. No facts behind it, just the thoughts in my head. But AVTX, my optimism has gone out the window, and more than anything, I never even had to say it this time, but this good day, bad day, good day, bad day, good day, bad day, good day, bad day, on and off, clearly died after the 11th, right? So more things to be worried about than be excited here, all right? FNGR. Let me move into finger motion. Dude, finger motion. My goodness, I'm not going to lie. I did not think this 650 line was going to do much. All right. I am a little bit surprised and disappointed we never even wicked the 750. All right. So let's take a couple days back. So last week, it was on this day because I actually remember the doji. On Friday the 13th, no Friday the 13th pun, obviously, there was earnings, all right? And the one thing I kind of said was, even the couple days after, the Monday did this, the Tuesday did that, and I made a little bit of a pun that I couldn't quite put my finger on the market's reaction to the earnings, all right? And pun aside, look, I always say, you need to wait for the market to really tell you what the reactions to the earnings was, all right? I say this with the most respect, all right? It doesn't matter what I think about the earnings release. It doesn't matter what you think of the earnings release. It matters what the market thinks, all right? And who or what is the market? Really, at the end of the day, what I'm basically saying is where's the volume going? All right. Are more people saying good, let's buy, or are more people saying bad, let's sell? Okay. And I think the market went, I don't even think, you can see it. The market went extremely horizontal for about a week. There were some really positive moments. There were some scary moments. There were some neutral moments. There were some, I will be honest, I remember seeing the Friday be in the sevens. I actually for sure saw that. I really thought that today was going to go, I actually thought today was going to go silly. Like I said, there wasn't even a fake out. This thing opened down here, right? So again, just in case you fast forward, I want to show this, okay? S&P 500 is below all the moving averages. That's not good. Dow Jones is below all the moving averages. That's not good. NASDAQ Composite, all right, only has one moving average left. Like, the market is not good, all right? And despite whatever pump, whatever, short squeeze, hype, this and that. Look, I'm telling you, it's hard for stocks to do well in a bad market. And unfortunately, that's what I think is happening here, all right? I also really think we now see the real earnings reaction. Now, in some ways, we still need to confirm. I really think we're coming down to 524 tomorrow. Maybe 540 can hold. What are you? Yeah, 540. I think 540, best case. I for sure would not be surprised if I saw 520 tomorrow. It really seems like we're going to want to come to the 100 moving average, and then I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we're going to lose the 100 moving average or not. I always find it weird when the RSI and the MACD are doing opposite things. This one's telling me green under red. This one's telling me green over red. Obviously, I'm going to kind of lean with the MACD here and say I think the MACD is the more accurate indicator. So I think MACD divergence is a little scary. I think we're going to come to the negative. These were two bad volume days back to back. That was obviously an ugly candle. So I think $5.20, $5.40 makes a lot more of a plausible reaction tomorrow. I think best case, if we were to come up, we need at least, 590, 585. Yeah, I think if we come up to only like 575, I think that's going to be too little. We really need to come back up into this 590 range. Yeah, it's a little hard to put a good spin on this, actually. Look, I'll be honest. I know I saw a lot of my viewers react positively to the finger motion earnings, all right? That said, I got to say it one more time, and it goes to any stock. I'm telling you, any single ticker I cover, our simple opinions don't matter as much as the market follow through. You know what I mean? So disappointing to say the least, all right? What's the 20 moving average here? 511. This is actually saying 511 is more likely. So I think I'm gonna stick with my 520 for sure. Yeah, I think 520 seems real likely here. Finger motion. Damn, man. I super excited here. Super happy to see it crawl back. I think it's a little too hopium to stay in. Again, you know I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money or spread fear, right? So let me know your thoughts and opinions if they're different always, okay? Let's come into Marathon. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, that would be very much appreciated, all right? So let's take a look at Marathon, and this is a nice chart right here, actually, all right? There's something I want to show. Give me a second. I'm going to pause real quick just to make sure nothing bad happens when I do this. 1 second, okay? Whoops. All right, I did not need to pause. So what I'm going to do is go into the Discord, and I end up clicking a link that Mr. Onion provided, all right? It is this, and I'm going to show it to you here, okay? I love this. First of all, I love rainbows, all right? Like, I love colors and stuff, so the fact that people put this on a rainbow chart brought this, like, beautiful smile to my face, all right? This is an interesting curve, right? All we're really looking at is a resistance curve and a support curve, all right? And a couple things are quickly, look, the first thing is the assumption is, hey, we're down here in the purple, we're probably going to want to go back up, right? And you know, I'm not here to say yes or no to that just yet. And again, obviously I said I really like the Marathon chart, so in some ways I think we are going to start making our way up, okay? Couple important things to note. This is actually the longest period we've been in this purple band. Okay, we were well up in the blues. We then go a little lower to this purple border. We then only really quickly come into the purple border, and then now we've actually been living here. Okay, so what I'm seeing is a progressively worse. All right, hopefully that made sense. The next thing I want to talk about is, look, after the halvings, I don't know, I think I'm saying that poorly. Regardless, after the happened. Wow, I struggled with that too much. That's a monster rocket up. That's a little bit more of a delayed and less steep one. This is still a delayed one and actually less steep than this one. So in a lot of ways, what I'm seeing is it's not getting as good as it used to be, and it's actually getting a little worse than it used to be. All right, again, I think we're going to go up a little bit right now. I like the Marathon chart. I actually really do. I really think there's a lot of reason to believe we're going to come to 10, right? Adding adding roughly $1 on 9, that's a little bit more than 10%, right? Maybe we'll get over this, right? And you know I always say it's a little difficult to break 2 moving averages, but these two are actually going away from each other. And hopefully tomorrow the red goes down a little more drastically and the purple can go up a little bit. And then over the next coming days, these actually become 2 separate lines that can be attacked individually versus a cluster that's hard to break. But I think there's actually some reason to believe we might be coming to 1050, if not even 11. And hey, I'll be honest, if we can touch 11, we might actually make our way up to 12. I think there's good reason to believe that there's more than a 20% gain to be had here, all right? I like the MACD, I like the RSI, I like the volume. It sounds like Bitcoin itself is doing well. And again, looking at this beautiful rainbow chart, it seems like we're going to want to go up again. It seems like we're getting close to the halving, which maybe will be getting some people excited, right? But I think there's a little bit of the ball is not going to roll the same path down that it used to, all right? And hopefully that made sense. I throw out some dumb analogies sometimes. If they're bad, feel free to say that they're bad. But I don't know if the halving is going to do what people are expecting. And I don't know if the rainbow is going to go up as much, right? Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of good reason to believe that there's a 20% here to be made. And hey, in the ugly market that we're in, to find something that looks promising is great. All right. It's super, 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 super important to remember to confirm. We've been well under this 20 moving average line since August. All right. We tried and failed, 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 tried. Are we going to fail or are we not? And yeah, that's a real good candle. And this is definitely some good MACD RSI and volume. But again, what would normally confirm in a better market doesn't in a bad one. And we're in a bad one. All right. I would not be surprised if this thing actually falls to 840. And I'm seeing it continue to go up in post market. Right, I can see the blue lines going up. We're now pushing 15% instead of the 12. That said, I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if this comes to 840. I think 814 might be a little too low, but hey, maybe even 830. Okay. Otherwise, yeah, hopefully we make a nice clean run to 10, and then yeah, we might even have a good shot at 12 here. Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually some pretty good thoughts for Marathon. Not a great weekly. All right, let's at least say that, right? We are actually under all 5 moving averages on the weekly. We'd lose it on this week, but we never really confirm it, right? So in some ways, we're at least trying to survive. And hey, maybe it's actually going to be a little harder to get over 930 than it looks like. And then what number are you? Yeah, this is pretty much 12 on the dot. Oops, not the Discord, this. I think, sorry, go back to the daily. That's what I wanted to do. I think I'm comfortable with what I'm saying here. I think going to 12 is likely. I think breaking 12 will be the difficult part, but that's what, you know, the altcoin itself will do, right? I actually don't know where Bitcoin's at. I don't know if it's over 30, under 30, over 20, under 20. I'll be honest with you. It's not something I follow. Let's go into RIOT. And really, I imagine... Interesting. Okay, some similarities to the Marathon chart for sure. The first thing that I'm catching, and yeah, exact same timeline, makes sense, right? Since August, we've been well below the 20 moving average. I would say this has struggled a little bit more with the 20 moving average than Marathon, so maybe Marathon might be a little better just in terms of how it's performed against the 20. Again, I see that we're still going up post-market. I do. I still need to stress that this thing has to confirm, all right? These two lines are actually the exact same lines that we were talking about with Marathon, right? Let me just show it really quickly. That same 2050 is the same, sorry, the same 5200, the 50 and the 200 is the same 5200 that we see right here, right? So in some ways, I kind of like the fact that the charts are mimicking each other, because yeah, I do believe if Marathon will get over it, it should be able to pull RIOT with it. I generally believe in sector strength, right? So yeah, interesting. Again, I think the altcoin stocks are worth looking at. I was only going to cover these two, but yeah, HUT, BTB, BTBT, maybe even coin itself, right? So I would check those out, but I like what I see with Marathon and RIOT for sure. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, you know it. I appreciate you so much.